guys, so today I'm going to be doing a little DIY sewing tutorial type thing where I turn this ugly old sweater from like freshman year of high school, not cute, into like a pastel color block kind of cute thing. So I'm going to be using today some Tulip fabric dye that I got from Walmart and it was on sale. And honestly, I cannot resist any cheap craft supplies, so I had to buy it and figure out something to do with it. So I'm going to be using today their bright pink and turquoise. To get the color block effect, you're going to have to cut your sweater into different sections. And for mine, I'm going to make both of the sleeves turquoise and the body of the sweater pink. Okay, so for the first step, you're just going to turn your sweater inside out. And I'm going to cut the sleeves off with a rotary cutter, and if you don't have that, scissors will be fine. Don't worry about it. And I'm going to cut along the inside of the seam. And I don't know, I think my rotary cutter is dull, so I'm trying my best. Oh wow, it worked pretty well. Okay, so now I'm going to do the other sleeve. Same way with my dull rotary cutter. Alright, and so now I'm going to have two sleeves for the turquoise and weird sweater vest thing. Did I pink? So now we're going to take all of these to the bathroom. So now I'm in my bathroom where we have some horrible lighting and shaky camera work by me, but that's alright because I have my two bins filled with about a gallon of water here, and each of these containers are 5 quarts, so I just eyeballed to about a gallon of steaming hot water, as hot as your tap will go. And I recommend doing this in the bathtub because I am pretty messy and I usually splash the water all over the place. So the next step for Tulip Dye is to add 4 tablespoons of salt, and I'm going to do that off camera. Alright, so I added 4 tablespoons of salt to each of these tubs and mixed it until it was dissolved. So now it's time to add the dye. And since I'm going for like a pastel color, I'm just going to add like a little bit at a time so the color isn't too strong. That was just a little bit. And you're going to need something to mix the dye around with, and all I have is an old hanger, but that's okay because we're resourceful on this channel. Now I'm going to add a little bit of the turquoise to the other box. As you can see, I just added like a little sprinkle of each of these, and it got like this really bright color, and most of the dye is left in there. So I'm just going to do like a little patch test on a napkin and see what the color's looking like. Alright, so I'm going to see how vibrant this pink really is, and that's probably going to be too light. The color won't really show up on my sweater, I don't think, if it's this light. That looks nice, but I think each of them just need a little bit more. I'm probably just going to double what I already added. Okay, so I ended up adding about half of each of the bag. That's how much powder is left in there. Same with the turquoise. I'm going to go ahead and wet each of the fabrics before I add them to the dye. And wetting them before you add them to the dye will make sure that all the dye soaks in evenly so you don't get any dry spots. Okay, so I wet everything in the sink, squeezed out the extra water, and now I'm going to add the sleeve to this turquoise. And the other sleeve. And here is the torso. So I'm just going to use a stirring utensil to make sure they get submerged. Mix them around. I'm going to mix them for just a couple of minutes, then let them sit, and I'll check back on the color of them every couple minutes until I think it's alright. If you want the full intensity of the color, you're supposed to leave it for an hour, but I don't want it to be so dark, so I might take it out earlier. It's been about 15 minutes and I was getting worried that the colors were too dark, so I took one of the sleeves out and rinsed it off in the sink, and it turned out this really nice color. It looks pretty close to the packaging, so I'm gonna take out the rest of the fabric, rinse it off, and we'll look at what we're working with. So I rinsed out as much dye as I could, and now I'm gonna wash them separately with hot water dry them, and then we can move on to the last step. Now that all the fabric's washed and dried, we're going to reattach the sleeves. So to do that, make sure the body of the sweater is inside out and the sleeve is right side out. So you're going to take the sleeve and put it inside of the armhole so that both of the right sides are touching on the inside. And then just line up the top and bottom and pin around. Added just a couple of pins around the sweater sleeve because I prefer to just adjust it as I sew. So to get the sleeve to fit on the sewing machine better, I'm going to remove this little box at the bottom so I could put the sleeve all the way onto the machine. And I'm just going to be using a straight stitch with the closest matching thread that I could find. And if you are very advanced at sewing, please don't roast me because I'm still a beginner. So let's see how this goes. Now I'm on to the second sleeve, and the reason that I'm using a straight stitch instead of a zigzag on stretchy fabric like this is because the sweater is a bit oversized, so the sleeves like fit over my arms without stretching, so hopefully the seams won't pop. Alright, that was it. So now I'm going to try it on and we'll see how this turned out. Okay, so here's the finished product. Obviously it's a lot less pastel than I was going for, but it's still pretty cute and I think it turned out alright considering this is actually the first time I've used this brand of dye or even kind of attempted something like this. Overall, I mean, it's a pretty simple project, so anyone could really do this. There's a couple spots on my sweater that have like lines on them. That's probably from when I was rinsing it out. Since I still have some dye left, I'm probably going to try something like this again in the future. Hopefully I'll figure out how to make it more pastel. If you watched all the way to the end, thank you so much. That means a lot to me. This is my first video, in case it wasn't obvious of how awkward I was, and I don't know, this editing is probably gonna be weird. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it gave you some ideas, inspired you to make something yourself. It really wasn't easy. It only took me like a couple hours, like 3-ish hours, so not so bad. If you want to see more of me, follow me on Instagram at circusangel_. Leave me a comment, tell me how bad my sewing skills are. I can't promise I won't cry, but it's probably true. Oh well. Thank you for watching. This was pretty fun. Okay, bye.